Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're zeroing in entirely on ACIM Lesson 34. If you've been searching for a real, highly practical way to just reset your mind, well, you are in exactly the right place. Our absolute foundation for today is this specific statement. Let's read it together slowly. I could see peace instead of this. This single, profound line is the core message we are going to unpack. I know, it sounds incredibly simple, right? But as we break down the text of this lesson, you'll see it's actually a highly specific, tactical tool for fundamentally changing how you experience your day. So, how do we actually do this? Here's our roadmap. We're going to turn this dense philosophical text into a daily manual by covering the inner path to peace, the daily mind search, protecting your daily peace, overcoming heavy emotions, and finally, your daily peace blueprint. Let's dive right in. Part 1. The inner path to peace. Let's get the philosophy down first. Okay, so usually we operate under the assumption on the left, right? We think the external world pulls all the strings. If something bad happens out there, we feel bad in here. But the text begins by describing what it calls the conditions that prevail in the other way of seeing. In this mindset, peace of mind is strictly an internal matter. It literally must begin with your own internal thoughts, and only then does it extend outward. The huge takeaway here is that a peaceful perception of the world doesn't happen by magically fixing the world itself. It arises directly from your own internal peace of mind. You cultivate the peace internally first, and that changes the lens through which you perceive absolutely everything outside of you. Moving on to Part 2, the daily mind search. Let's talk about the longer practice periods. The lesson actually requires a structured schedule for these longer exercises. You need 3 of them today. The text advises doing 1 in the morning and 1 in the evening. And the third one? Well, that's a wild card session to be undertaken anytime in between that seems most conducive to readiness. Just slip it in whenever you feel most focused. And very importantly, the text notes that all of these applications should be done with your eyes closed, because it's your inner world we are applying this to. For each of these 3 sessions, the text asks for about 5 minutes of what it calls mind searching. Here are the exact steps. You close your eyes and you begin scanning your mind for specific thoughts. Now, what's really interesting here is the instruction to note them casually. As you slowly repeat today's idea, I could see peace instead of this. You watch these thoughts pop up, you note them without fighting them, let them go, and allow them to be replaced by the next. But what exactly are we hunting for in there? The text gives us this very specific hit list. You're searching your inner world for fear, thoughts, anxiety-provoking situations, quote-unquote offending personalities, offending events, basically anything where you are harboring unloving thoughts. These are the literal roadblocks to your internal peace, and we are actively pulling them up to apply today's lesson to them. Now, you know how it is. Sometimes you sit down, close your eyes, and your mind just goes totally blank. The text actually anticipates this. It advises that if you have trouble thinking of specific subjects to target, don't stress out. Just continue to repeat the idea to yourself. I could see peace instead of this, in a really unhurried manner without applying it to anything in particular. There's just one strict rule. Be sure not to make any specific exclusions. If a messy thought does sneak in, you have to apply the idea to it. No hiding things from the exercise. All right, Part 3, protecting your daily peace. Let's look at the shorter applications. While those long sessions give you a foundation, these shorter applications are your on-the-go defense. The text says they should be frequent, used whenever you feel your peace of mind is threatened in any way. Think of these as quick spot treatments. Their exact purpose is to protect you from temptation throughout the day, the temptation to just lose your peace and react blindly to the external world. When a specific form of temptation pops up, say an annoying email, or someone cuts you off in traffic, the text requires you to adapt the exercise to take this exact form. I could see peace in this situation instead of what I now see in it. Boom. You apply it directly and immediately to the specific trigger right in front of you. Part 4, overcoming heavy emotions. This is for the deep-seated, generalized issues. The source material is incredibly validating here because it specifically addresses what it calls generalized adverse emotions. It lists depression, anxiety, or worry. It knows these heavier moods happen. If you find yourself stuck in one of these generalized states, rather than just reacting to a specific event, the text says to use the idea in its original form. I could see peace instead of this. However, if you need more than just one quick application to shift your mindset, the text hands you an expanded mantra. It tells you to take several minutes, completely devoting them to repeating this idea until you feel some sense of relief. I can replace my feelings of depression, anxiety, or worry, or my thoughts about this situation, personality, or event with peace. You literally just sit with that targeted phrase until you physically or mentally feel the tension start to break. Which brings us to part 5. Your daily peace blueprint. Let's wrap this all up. Once again, it all comes back to the core anchor of Lesson 34. I could see peace instead of this. Every single exercise we just unpacked is built entirely around internalizing this one massive realization that peace is a choice you can make internally, regardless of whatever chaos is happening externally. So, to make sure you get the results the text intends, here is your cheat sheet for the day. For the mind search, you do this 3 times daily for 5 minutes each with your eyes closed. For spot treatments on specific triggers, do this frequently, taking just brief moments whenever your peace gets rattled. And for heavy emotions like anxiety or worry, apply it as needed, taking several minutes to repeat the expanded phrase until you finally feel that relief. I really hope this explainer made Lesson 34 click for you and give you a tangible tool for your day. If it was helpful, please hit that like button and subscribe right now. It's a huge help to us, and it means we can keep bringing you these deep dives into fascinating source materials. I want to leave you with this one last provocative thought. The text makes it absolutely clear that your perception of the world is sitting right there in your own hands, beginning with your own thoughts. You have the exact blueprint. You've got the phrases. So when the world inevitably tests you today, will you choose to see peace? Thanks so much for joining me on The Explainer, and I'll catch you next time.